was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Sinisa Monagadi. I'm an education activist in equal education.
My name is Songose. I stay in Kailicha. I'm an activist at Equal Education.
My name is Kuluma Ncomeshali. I am an activist. I'm an education activist from Equal Education.
My name is Esetu Plagi. I live in Kailicha. I'm an education activist in Equal Education.
My name is Penatis Sakele from Kailicha. I'm an education activist from Equal Education.
Hi, my name is Asisi Bombana. I'm an equal education activist.
It's not just only about things that are happening socially, the inequalities within the education system, right? So I think for me, it's about this national question which we're talking about, which is the land, right? And when we have the land, we'll be able to build schools, we'll be able to have sufficient housing for ourselves. We can even have farming, can even go as far as our forefathers did back then, to have their own agricultural background and have all of those things that they used to do nowadays. We can even have like sports field, you name them. So for me, and we mustn't just narrow down the land question to only housing. The rivers, the sea, agriculture, then housing. So the land is not just fixed to accessing housing only. So it can also bring economic change within South Africa. Then we wouldn't have this class question. It would be answered. We wouldn't have the different inequalities. Those questions will be answered when we have the land. So for me, that's.
I mean, the land question is too broad when you ask, because I don't want us to be opportunistic when you talk about the land. If you, for instance, the stance that have been taken in South Africa currently to go and occupy land is, as some of the parties you may know, they come into that. What kind of a land are we occupying? That's the main thing. And then it shifts the focus of this access to free education. I'm talking about resources, infrastructure. The struggle that is being faced by a learner in Cape Town is, according to education, it's not the same struggle that is faced by a learner in KZN. A learner in KZN wakes up in 3 a.m. and walk to school, cross rivers that we are talking about, cross this land that you are talking about to get access to to quality education or free education. And the learner in Cape Town wakes up at 7 a.m. in the morning, have breakfast and walk to school and do whatever. So when we talk about land, we should discuss it serious, not this thing of when we have the land and believe that everything will live in a world full of milk and honey. That's not the case. The land question is too broad and it should be discussed serious, not by occupying and building a 4-meter bungalow at the backyard or whatsoever.
The land is not just only about me having a shack which is 5 meters, right? Putting a head on top of a roof on top of my head. It's about getting all those economic resources within the economy, which we will run in the longer run if we get the land. But I mean, the ruling party now is.
I agree with Tasbu. Can I just chip in, Jan? I agree with Tasbu about this thing. But the land question, as I've said, is broad. The struggle of land that was fought in 1959 and 1960 is not the same land question that we are fighting for now. There's urban land, there's rural land, there's agriculture. Even
talking about all the land. There's no land that is agricultural or urban or rural. We are talking about the entire land. You can't tell me about township land or urban land or rural land. We're talking about all the land.
Now we're living under the systems of which now places are like specific places are named. Rural, urban. We know, Gina, those are the land. This is the land. We can't just, but you can't just change. Then you say, like, I will take the land. Because there are people who will say
But
they are
also
saying
you
who
need to understand
responsible.
where the resources are
Yes.
allocated.
Yes,
Where
we can't
is-
just take the land.
Where is
And I hear
the
you
resources
also-
allocated?
You speak about
Okay.
economy most of the times. Of which one question would rise, economy, where does it belong? Who does it belong to? Because
Who
if you look
benefits?
now, who benefits from that economy you speak about? Because if you look, tourism, it's one of the sectors that have more job opportunities. But still, black people are still struggling throughout that economy you're speaking about. So you need to be careful because we're going to speak about economy. Because even those economic resources that we're going to attain, still, black people will have to go and work for that money.
The majority of the people who are rich are the white people, and the majority of people who are poor are black African people. So, as you communists might know, as Marx says, we are living in a different type of capitalist system, which is now the kind of system that we are living under. That's why it's difficult to fight for equality education and free education, is because the neoliberalism kind of a capitalist system is overtaking even of, because each and every time we're fighting for class as a question, the capitalist system always manage itself to overcome those kind of challenges. Because people who are activists fighting for class, they ending up being bourgeois and all of those kind of things.
Which also comes to what Uasi was saying about how what we do, like, it literally just feeds into capitalism. And when we feed into capitalism, we literally feed into white monopoly capital. And I don't want us to just speak about white monopoly capital as though any other kind of monopoly capital is okay. All monopoly capital is not okay. You know, we're a socialist movement, and we're socialist people, I believe. And when we speak of monopoly capital, that is not, all of it is not accepted, right? Whether it's black or white. But our biggest problem is that right now, we have the biggest issue, or like the biggest type of monopoly capital that we have is white monopoly capital.
Although we have these different ideologies that we have, but also we Tina, we tend to when we know these ideologies, we tend to debate among each other about these ideologies rather than trying to put okay, what is the way forward now? You see, that is the problem, because these ideologies now we are studying now, they are the same ideologies that are mastered by e-capitalists. You see? Because the e-capitalists must say they know knows these things. Because the capitalist is a system. Everything to the capitalist. You know? So now what I'm saying is that in order for us, Tina, to grow, Tina, as a black, we need to educate ourselves also. We have about black people who are rich, who have money. We think they have money. You know, those people can contribute also to improve, to empower the black communities by doing what? By offering what they have to these learners and mentor them. You know?
But if we're going to speak about black people helping, okay, we have the Mutsipe Foundation, blah, 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 but that's for students that are, I'm sure you know the Mutsipe Foundation, the scholarship, man. It's for the people who want to go out and actually access the university, and then they need the fee. Half the time it doesn't work out. But if we're going to speak about then black people helping other black people, look at what happened in Marikana. A black person had shares in London. They could have helped the black people, but they chose not to. Bourgeois thoughts.
Yeah. So which comes back to which speaks about that it's clear that even the South African system prioritizes on who contributes the most on its economy. So that's why you'd find out that the township schools, yes, they are building schools, but they are empty. There's no resources. It's that's the first point. That's why we even fought for minimum nonsense standards. To be sure, for everyone to know, to be written down, to be a policy, everyone to know what a school should look like to be able to be called a school. You understand? So now they know that those black parents who live in township don't contribute much to the economy. So they are less important to this economic system. So you understand? So I don't want us to focus more on the economy.
Yeah.
Because it does not belong to us as
I think we must agree that the so-called freedom and democracy that we got from 1994 was negotiated, right? And they thought that they're going to get eventually economic power when they get political power, of which it was not the case after they got all those past laws to be eradicated, right? So we mustn't also get away from the thought that the economic system that we use, which is capitalism, it's global. It's not just in South Africa or in Africa. It's global. So it will be very difficult for us to defeat this animal, which is called capitalism. So as much as we would use Marxism, which breaks it down to class, antagonism, materialistic things that happen within those different classes, but we mustn't run away from the thought that capitalism is not just in South Africa or in Africa, it's global. And the people who are getting this type of education or political ideologies, it's just a minority of people. And in South Africa, we know that white people are a minority, right? But the black poor people who are a majority here do not have access to all those things that we're talking about.
I think it also goes back. I think it's also
What are those things?
It also goes
Education,
back, yeah.
healthcare.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Uspenat was saying, youth activism, because we can't be blaming the class of 94, the class of 1976, all those kind of things. They've played their part in the education system, all of that.
Must take
The main thing is to emancipate our people, to be conscious. Because if you're conscious, I'm conscious, they're conscious, everyone will be conscious. So when we emancipate the minds and permit black life to our people to realize that what kind of a system are you living under, what kind of an education system that is being brought to us as people, how are we receiving it, and what do we want, what kind of South Africa do we want, Tina, as activists? So when all of the people are aware what is being done to them by these vanguards, then they will be able to understand how the system works and what should be improved. I think organizations like Equal Education have tried their best, but it's not enough. Because it's an ongoing struggle. Because we will play our part. We will not sure if by 2030 these things will be.
Yes, and as the struggles, they need women leaders also. We need to be grooming our girls to get into the struggle. Ngaphandle feminism, humanism in general. We need to be grooming our girls to get in there. Ngaphandle equality, there are things as a guy you can't fight for because they literally where you can fight the struggle, sanitary pads for everyone.
In the forefront.
But it is my struggle. I have blood coming out of my vagina every month. You don't. So those are my things. I appreciate that you can fight for that, but also we need to literally groom girls. But you can fight for yourself. Do not leave the saving of the world to the guys. You can also do it for yourself, because literally I always say that these days, abantwana thina, when we were growing up, we had fairy tales to look up to, but our kids right now will have generals to look up to. So we should be making sure that by the time Tina, we feel like I'm 40, I'm done with this. Your kid is up there, Sindisa, who always, doing the things, and some Olokazi is also doing the things.
My dream is an equal and a just society for everyone living in South Africa, and to kind of contribute of making that equal and just society in South Africa.
My dream is to become an actor so that I can tell all of those stories which are happening and my experience of life.
My dream is to see a liberated black child, and more especially to see a liberated girl child.
One of my dreams is to become a teacher. I would really love to see young black people making education one of their priorities in their lives.
My dream is to become a motivator to some young entrepreneurs who want to create a system whereby we will be calling it a black capitalist system.
My dream is to become a leader, and I've been sort of living that dream by being part of this organization.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.